absolutely blown away by the horror that was on television just last night. And as I said, I give Brett a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit. He didn't even get a chance, poor guy, to get to any of the economic stuff or anything else for that matter, because she was just viciously trying to redirect. I mean, she's desperate enough that she makes the call to Fox saying, hey, can I go on? Then she's thinking, okay, I can manage this reporter like I manage all my friendly podcasters. And you know what? She couldn't. He's actually pretty good at his job. I was really impressed. I didn't expect to be impressed, but I was impressed. So let's watch some of it together, because it didn't start out well. In fact, right from the very beginning, she was clearly prepared for a fight. That's what it sounded like to me. And she wanted to try and wiggle away from this, that, and the other. And he wasn't going to let her, ladies and gentlemen. Let's roll the tape.
Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people
that is about
pollsters,
turning the page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But
people
you're the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president, one, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him instead of the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people.
Just for the record, they've said a lot of things about the other side, including that, she went on about the enemy within, etc. Donald Trump has twice nearly been assassinated. So there's clearly some kind of problem within. But if you listen to the left, of course, the problem is with the conservative part of the country, right? Like that's what they tell you over and over again. And you can go back to J6, et cetera, because that's the threat, that's the enemy, et cetera. But that just blew me away. I mean, like right off the top, she came prepared, if you would, for a fight, but not prepared for any kind of substantive conversation. This woman wants to be the president of the United States, and she can't tell us why she's going to be any different than what we saw to Biden and her for the last 3.5 years. And in fact, when Brett gives her, it's like a layup. Like, why should people go with you? You gotta work on that answer, guys. She's been running for the presidency for a couple months now, right? You gotta work on that answer because it's the most obvious question in the world. And you know how many things? You're just going to go back with Trump? Well, Trump's been in this for 3.5 years. He's been running for 3.5 years. Sorry, you've been running the country for 3.5 years. And guess what we have to show for it? You know the drill. Inflation, and more inflation. With electricity prices up 30% and airfare prices up 24% and gas prices up 30%. I mean, she can't tell us how she would be any different. And then she says, well, you know what I'm talking about with Donald Trump running. Brett's like, no, I don't know. I'm like watching this, like, what is she talking about? Do they have some kind of secret code that they communicate in there among those lefties? That was unbelievable, guys. Okay, that was tragic. You compare and contrast it, say, with the Bloomberg interview that Donald Trump did on tariffs, which also was kind of feisty and kind of fun. But there was substance. He was trying to tell the very uptight British reporter why we actually do need tariffs to protect our economy and to protect our jobs and to protect our national security. Because he believes it. Like, he understands it. He's been talking about it for decades. He's been consistent on it, and it's like part of his DNA. I don't know what she believes in. I really don't. I mean, there's some, anti-crypto rules that she's trying to come out with. There's some pro-MJ rules that she's trying to come out with. And there's handouts. $25,000 for you if you're a first-time home buyer. Oh, and if you happen to be a black man, guess what? I'm going to give you a forgivable loan for $20K. Basically means you get $20K. I mean, what is this woman about? Like, how is she actually talking about rebuilding this, quote, opportunity economy? Good phrase, if you know how to back it up. And she does not know how to back it up. What we saw was really pathetic. And that wasn't it. Okay, there was more. If you can stand it. This woman just sunk her chances. I'm going to get to the polls, I promise, because it's game over.
But you call Donald
Trump.
The
significance
you
of that.
Call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room. And he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
But
is,
you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand.
I think Clooney's making another phone call. Somebody posted this on Twitter and I just died laughing. Call Biden. He's back in. Yeah, I'm not. Can they get Joey back? Joe's going to love this right about now because Joe, I don't think ever really liked her. I don't think he ever really trusted her. I never understood why he picked her for VP other than maybe Barack Obama was in his ear muscling her in. But she took up one side and down the other, remember, in the 2020 Democrat debate? And nobody liked her because of it, because they saw her as really combative without any softness around her. And, like people say, oh, it's harder for a woman. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. But I think, I look at all the male politicians out there, and the ones that don't succeed are the ones that have the they don't have any je ne sais quoi. And like this woman, female or male, it just doesn't matter. She has no je ne sais quoi. Like, there's nothing about her that you like, right? Like, I mean, they already did unlikable, right? With Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton kind of got on everyone's nerves. Same kind of deal here, but at least with Hillary, like, you knew that she was in the front of the class, glasses and all, right? I wear glasses too, so I'm not picking on glasses, but you think of the image of the young Hillary Rodham in the front of the classroom saying, I know the answer, I know the answer, I know the answer, but at least you knew the answer. Like, you knew that she was smart, if extremely annoying. Kamala Harris is extremely annoying and surely doesn't know the answer and is skating by on whatever thin air she can, muster up. I mean, this is really abominable. So Joe Biden loves it. Joe Biden's like, oh yeah, you got rid of me. Georgie, you thought you could get rid of me. Well, you'll get rid of me, but you'll get rid of any chance of having the Oval Office. You're losing all shots at power. Thanks to your decision to put in Kamala Harris and take it away from Joe Biden, whom the American people had picked. Now, I think he was too old. But I've actually been saying that for 3 years. And 3 years ago, go back and look at the YouTube. I've done entire shows on this. Like, they needed to change out their candidate. They needed to primary him. He needed to retire, but they wouldn't do it because they're weak. The party is weak. They allowed Joe to move forward. Suddenly they woke up one day and, well, they looked at the polls, including Nate Silver's.